Hello once again, and Tony here with a review of the Colombian drama film La Tierra y la Sombra, which was directed by César Augusto Acevedo. It was produced by Diana Bustamente Escobar, Paula Andrea Perez Nieto, and Jorge Foreroa. The cinematographer was Mateo Guzman Sanchez. It was edited by Miguel Schwertfinger, and it stars Aimer Leal, Hilda Ruiz, Erison Regosa, Marieda Soto, and Jose Felipe Cardenas. Now, I was definitely having high hopes for this film because this is one of those films that I kind of knew was going to be good from the start, and especially from its premise, and one that was going to take me seriously. And my expectations, surprisingly, ended up being met. So let's start off with the story. Now, this is also a family drama, as we see that there is an old man who has basically come back from another part of town to come back to the very place where he used to live with his wife, who basically estranged him, and then his daughter-in-law, his daughter, his son-in-law, and his grandson. Now, they're kind of not sure how to really warm up to his presence. I mean, the grandson, Manuel, asks if Alfonso is his grandfather, and Alfonso replies that yes, he is. He comes in, and, well, everything doesn't really turn out too well, as the father, Gerardo, is suffering from a severe lung disease, most likely asthma, as the living conditions that he got himself into have definitely affected his health. And the family also has to keep on working in order to get enough funds, not only for their living, but hopefully for Gerardo's treatment. So you could really tell that this is a very gripping family drama. And this is also an honest one as well. I mean, you could really tell that the people behind this film really went out of their way to really make this film as honest and truthful as possible without resorting to melodrama or many other gimmicks that would end up enticing this film. No, this film was honest in its execution, and let me just tell you that once you get to the climax and the ending, you will need a box of tissue. But still, it's a very well executed film that I felt was just very well done in terms of its story, and I actually found myself really rooting for all these characters from beginning to end. The cinematography was equally well done, enhancing a certain quietness, lushness, and even severity that you could feel throughout this film. Every close up, every wide shot, every shot in general just makes this film just lifelike in its own special way. And the music is equally as gorgeous. Now, while the film is mostly silent all throughout, the one musical piece that really stood out was the one that was being played when Alfonso is in a bar, and even the one that was used in the ending credits. I thought it was just so heart-wrenching just to listen to this song. I even almost wanted to sing this song, especially while I was still watching the credits. Yeah, that's how much it touched me. The characters are really well done. Simple, yet well done. Let's start off with Alfonso. Now, Alfonso, as he states, lives in another house with his two dogs, meaning that he's estranged from his own family, especially from his wife, Alicia. And you could really see that Alfonso is a very down to earth and very wise man who really knows for a fact that, of course, he needs to patch things together with his family, not just because of some higher power, not just because they want to like him again or he wants to like them again, but because he knows for a fact that family is definitely the most important, well, people that he's going to have in their lives or in his life, because he knows that through thick and thin, they have to stick with each other. And he knows that he has a responsibility and duty as a father, a husband, and a grandfather to really patch things up. So you could really see that even though there were times that ended up being rough for him, he still goes out of his way to try to patch things up. Now, with Doña Alicia, at first you might think, oh, she is rather cold and distant and domineering, but you actually kind of warm up to her and really understand where she's coming from with all of this. And then you also have Gerardo. Now, Gerardo, well, you could really see that he definitely is a father that's dedicated, even though he is in a condition where he may not make it that long, but he still tries to fight. His wife, Esperanza, is a strong mother and wife who always knows the best for the whole family. With Manuel, he is quite inquisitive and quite charming in his own special way, so you could really tell that the cast of characters, while they're simple, there is always something human about them and always something relatable about them that really makes me want to root for them. Not to mention the acting is very real, raw, and it just didn't feel like acting at all. I was just like seeing people in this film that I could relate to. And in the main role of Alfonso, we have Aimer Leal, who gives a very believable portrayal and a very convincing portrayal as Alfonso. It seems as though that he wasn't really acting at all. It's like he was truly living the part, as if though that he was in his shoes, knowing what he has to go through without resorting to any gimmick. And also we have Hilda Ruiz, who gives a very, very believable presentation of Alicia, making her a very multi-layered character as well. And then we get Edison Rayosa, even though he doesn't really have a lot to do, is very believable at conveying the pain and suffering felt in Gerardo. And then we have Marleda Soto. Like I said, even though she doesn't have a grand amount of things to do, she manages to be very believable in her portrayal and manages to be very relatable as well in this role. And then we have Jose Felipe Cardenas as Manuel. I could really see a very bright future for this child actor. He really nailed his part really well and was totally believable. So the acting in general in this film did not feel like a bunch of actors going through the motion or trying to play characters. No. I felt like these were real people going through real situations and having real and genuine relationships with others, whether they be in the family or outside the family. So overall, I really have to say that this Colombian drama film was just so gripping in its execution. I found myself rooting for all the characters from beginning to end, and let me just tell you, this was also one of the saddest films I've ever watched. So I'm going to give this film a 5 out of 5 stars. It is masterfully done, it is masterfully shot, and the acting done by all the mains and the supporting characters I thought was just excellent. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to tune in later where I review Alias Marias. Until then, see you later once again, everybody.